Are we on?
Yeah, we've been live. Everybody heard your stagnation.
Stagnant.
Oh, Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, don't get caught in the ledger. You should ask a bookkeeper. This is Ask a Bookkeeper with Stephanie Conley from Steph's Books. Of course, Steph's bookkeeping service is the sponsor of the show as well, so check her out at www.stephsbooks.com. Today, let's talk a little bit about team building.
Okay, so hi Kiki, hi Christine, hi me.
Hi. Oh, should I say hi too?
Yeah. So I'm Steph with Steph's Bookkeeping, as you all know. And this is Dawn Bremer with the Keller Williams Bremer team. She's a local realtor out here in McHenry County / Florida / Wisconsin.
Not Florida yet.
Oh, okay. Well, then just edit that out, okay, producer?
Producer, get on that.
Beep.
So today we're going to talk about some team building, and we're going to learn a little bit more about your business and kind of what drove you into that profession.
Insanity? What drove me into real estate? Oh, that's a long-winded question. Can you say revenge? No. I was married to a realtor. The marriage didn't work out. I knew what I was doing in real estate more so than the other person. So I decided to get my real estate since I needed a career. Got my real estate license 5 years ago.
So from being on both sides of the real estate where you were kind of like an internal office type person and also being a owner / realtor, did that help you give a lot of insight as to what you wanted when you were developing your brand and business?
Absolutely. The biggest thing that I realized was, and I'm sure you find this in your business too, is education is key. So I knew that I needed to do something different than a lot of realtors were doing. Instead of just talking about how to sell the house, I wanted to educate people on the whole process. And I needed to learn the whole process when I was doing the back end of the books. And so it made it really, really easy for me to be able to give people step by step. So it totally helped me in how we formulated and actually came up with the Bremer team based on education.
And then, so from when you transitioned into being the boss lady.
That's right. Or your friend calls me the bougie boss.
How many people now do you have on your team after how many years in business?
So 5 years, 5 current brokers. So we're all brokers in the state of Illinois. We're now real estate brokers. So I have 5 brokers on my team, and I have 3 more waiting to join. So they're finishing their licensing. So we'll have 8 before, I'd say, May. Look at eyebrows over there.
In your industry, do you need to do like an apprenticeship? Like, so your new up and coming brokers that are coming out of schooling, are they going to shadow with some of your veteran brokers?
Oh, yes. So some of them are already shadowing. So you cannot practice real estate without a license, but you can observe real estate. So I have an agent who's actually bilingual. And so we have listed a few houses using her as a translator. So she's there to translate, which also helps her learn the process and how we're doing that. When you get your real estate license, they changed it so that now, and this is very important because a lot of people don't know, when you get your real estate license, you think that you can just go about it. Now your managing broker has to follow you for a year. Oh. So you have to actually be with a managing broker at all transactions for a year. So it's a lot of babysitting going on now when you get your new license. So yes, so it's hard because then the managing broker has to follow them around and do stuff. So hopefully they'll figure out systems in place for that.
So is that you?
I am not a managing broker.
So it's just somebody on your team.
So no, it has to be the managing broker of the Keller Williams Libertyville office.
Okay.
So her name is Lisa Wolf. So Lisa Wolf, or I think his name is Andrew Peterson, is going to be the new managing broker, has to do this for all new agents that come to Keller Williams.
Well, that's fun. Okay.
Yes.
So I've had the privilege of meeting a couple of your team members.
Yes.
And so it seems like you have an eclectic group of personalities.
Yes. You got to have one for every personality of clients. So it's kind of how we do things. We pick who we think would be a great fit with that particular client. Some of our, one of our agents is kind of like, God, how would you say that?
Hippie?
A hippie, free, like whatever, may show up on time, may show up not on time, may not show up at all. He gets very little clients, just so you know. But then we have some,
steps out of his car like Cheech and Chong.
a puff comes out afterwards.
Right. No, I'm
but
kidding.
We actually have clients
Very
who love him,
Very
who request him. He's, so people like him. Then I have agents that are, very aggressive, very to the point. That's for clients who don't want to have small talk, just want to go out and shop and look and those are usually our investors that just want to know facts and, spreadsheets. And then we have agents that are fun and laid back. And I think you spent the weekend sometimes with some of them. No, I'm just kidding. So just kidding, Rich. So
he doesn't watch the show.
Oh, okay. Then yes, I'm not kidding. So, but yes, so we do have a wide variety of ages. One of my agents is coming on board is going to be 21. The oldest agent is not me.
No,
I have an older agent.
He just joined. Huh?
No, he's actually younger than me,
Oh.
and he will not be happy with you. It's a female agent that is older than me, and we will not mention names.
All right, John.
Sally Cash. So anyway.
That's right.
So for you, because I know that I've struggled with this in the past. When I've had a team that I've managed, I kind of for my field staff, when I was in construction, I was fine with whatever personalities kind of in the field. But for my office staff, I kind of looked more for beta personalities. Does that, or do you, in your industry, do you need all alphas? Because you guys have to be hungry wolves, on the hunt?
No, I wouldn't say that we would have to do that. I just think that it's really important when you're building a team, it's got to be somebody who meshes with the rest of the team. So everybody has their niche. Everybody has their own personalities, and you don't have to be a replica of anybody else. You just have to be a puzzle piece that fits to make a greater piece. And that's what I kind of feel like. And I think cohesively, we all work together to form a beautiful picture of the Bremer team, but individually, we're completely different. We just have rules. And my rules, these are independent contractors, so I'm not their bosses. That's something that's hard for people to understand. It's different. The team in real estate is completely different. These are 1099 people who can leave. We have no contracts. I don't tell them where to be or how to be. They get a client and they deal with that client themselves. I don't know when they're taking them out. They don't have to report with me, anything like that. But they do have to show numbers of sales. They do have to be able to have a great rate of return and make sure that they're closing the deals that I'm giving them or that they're bringing. But cohesively, it's such a great thing when you can have a team so you can brainstorm. And so maybe I'm not looking at something a way that they can see. I take listers, they take buyers. There's different things. So having a team gives you the opportunity to try all different facets and have multiple people's brain power to make you successful.
And then have you, do you guys do team building exercises, even though they're kind of independent?
Do you call drinking and going out to eat team building exercises?
Your team, you know them, and you also know, I'm assuming, their families?
I mean, yes. I mean, I don't necessarily
significant
know
others,
their families.
or
I mean, it depends. So, I mean, I have an agent. I've never met her husband or her kids, but she's at the office 3 or 4 days a week, and we work together very closely. I think pre-COVID, probably, we would have dinners together. We would have family events, but with keeping things to the requirements of the rules, we haven't been able to do that. We do a lot of networking events. And so, we're right here on Green Street. They have lots of events. So in the past, we all work them. We ask their families to come and do it. And it's a family event. We're not able to do that at this point because, unfortunately, of COVID. So the opportunity to meet their families and have more social time hasn't been at this opportune time.
So since you have a good team right now, how long did it take you to cycle through how many people to find this team?
Well, we've actually only had 2 people that didn't work out, and it wasn't for any other reason. One of them joined a team and then decided that they really didn't understand what the team concept was and really wasn't ready to be a team. They really wanted to be independent. So that was very short-lived, less than a week. Until they decided that this wasn't what they wanted. And another person, they just wanted to go to a different company with different splits, because we have splits. So these agents work with me. They pay a percentage to Keller Williams and they pay a percentage to me. And that person wanted to pay smaller percentages.
So you've never had to fire anybody?
I mean, not an agent. No, I've never had to fire an agent. Now, I have had to fire an administration person. But I used to fire and hire people all the time. I used to work in a medical facility as the medical billing coordinator. And yes, I've had to fire people. My office isn't like that. I mean, it's independent. You work as much as you want. I have an agent who wants to work whenever, maybe one deal a month. That's all they want to do. That's their choice. It doesn't cost me any money. They pay their own things. That's the blessing of having an independent contractor's agreement. I don't have to pay for their expenses.
Well, since you guys have your office in McHenry off of Green Street, and then you have another office in Libertyville, when you add those 3 additional brokers, are you going to maybe get another location like somewhere further south maybe and start tapping into other territories?
Keller Williams also has a office in Twin Lakes, Wisconsin. So my brokerage, we have 3 opportunities: Twin Lake, Wisconsin, Libertyville, and my office. My office is not a satellite of either of those. My office is an independent mega agent office. Only my team can work out of that. So if you're with another Keller Williams office, you cannot work out of my office. Even if you're with my Keller Williams in Libertyville, you cannot work out of my office. It's just for my team. We are thinking, what are you looking at me like that for?
Just weird.
It's kind of because it's called a mega agent office. It's not a franchise office and it's not a business office. It's strictly for my team to be in that area. Exclusivity.
Sounds a little bougie.
It's a little bougie. But what did she call me? I'm a bougie bitch.
That's it.
That's what it is.
And just want to everybody out there listen, thanks so much for tuning in 216net and Ask a Bookkeeper. Now, the name of the show you'll see right there on the screen is Ask a Bookkeeper. If you have any questions, it's getting close to tax time. If you just were wondering anything about a business or had a business question, Stephanie is the person to ask. We would love you to ask a bookkeeper.
I have a question for Bookkeeper.
Okay.
Are you an expert at profit and loss statements?
I mean, I can read a profit and loss statement.
Do you know how to create one for maybe a
realtor,
successful realtor that may or may not know how to do one? Yeah. Asking for a friend?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I could create a profit and loss statement from using your CSV files out of your bank account and converting the Excel document and editing it and making it into a PDF for tax purposes, because you can't, you're not supposed to edit the PDF.
Just nod.
I can do it in QuickBooks. I can do it in Wave. I can do it in FreshBooks. So there's several different softwares that I work out of that I can create a profit and loss statement from.
Hypothetically.
Excuse me.
Hypothetically, if you or I knew somebody who may or may not have bank records, but has no idea where to put them in to create a profit and loss statement,
I would suggest that you go back and start watching from day one on when the bookkeeper says, try not to keep all your crap in a shoebox.
So basically what I would do is
For your friend.
for a friend.
Yeah.
So recently I was presented with somebody that is a couple years behind. So I'm going to have to do a couple
on taxes?
No, just records and whatever. And so their profit and losses, I need to create them for a few years. So this is common. I get this all the time. It's not just 1 year, it's a couple years.
See, I could tell my friend this is
just
normal.
not your friend. Just
So I would just go through, either they would provide me access to their bank account, which is called accountant's access or bookkeeper access. So I can't do any transfers in or out of the bank account, but I could just pull the data that I need. And then I would pull it all into an Excel spreadsheet. And then from there, I can edit that with formulas and create the P&L.
How for my friend, how if they were giving you access to their bank account and you saw like all of the withdrawals for like Home Depot and restaurants and gas, how do you know what's a good business expense and where to put it?
Well, so for my clients that are realtors, we usually have a conversation about where they shop for staging materials, where they shop for client gifts, and where they shop for what's the other big category for you?
Open house stuff.
Oh yeah, and open house items. And then this way I know, like, for example, I have a client that she'll buy something at Kohl's for staging, and then like 45 days later she'll go and return it when she's done with the staging, and then she'll buy something from TJ Maxx and then she'll go return it. So I know that that's not her personal stuff. So we usually have that conversation and get that kind of level of detail. And then from there, we can compile it and put things in your personal stuff. Like, obviously, if there's a purchase at Petco or something, I know that you don't typically purchase dog food or cat food for staging.
But if you have a fish tank in your office, like I do, there would be Petco charges.
Well, yes.
Sure.
You do have a fish tank.
Christine says she is fantastic at it. She has access to my accounts and was so much smarter than my old accountant and lawyer.
And lawyer.
Well, thank you, Christine.
Wow.
That's
That's
glowing.
a very good. That should be like a quote on your website.
I'm not putting that on my website.
Better than an accountant and a lawyer.
Better than an accountant and a lawyer.
But yeah, it's very easy to make a
Great.
profit and loss statement and put it together, and then I would just sign off on it and then present it to your CPA or your friend's CPA, and then that would be that.
And how does one charge for something like that?
I would have to look at the volume of transactions, how many bank accounts, how many credit cards, how many receipts that you do or don't have.
And how do you not judge somebody on what you see in their credit card statements asking for a friend?
I'm going to say that I've been bookkeeping for 17 years and there's not anything that I haven't seen.
Really?
I'm going to pretty much guarantee
Interesting.
that I've seen it all.
Yeah, no, it's just you don't pass judgment, right? It's just
I don't care.
It's just a business expense.
You don't have to come home and answer to me.
That's
Look at that.
or your friend.
Or
Yeah.
my friend.
I mean, I had a client that was on dating sites, and they tried to justify to me that they offer like a service that everybody needs.
Huh?
So it's advertising. It's not necessarily a personal expense. And we went through a whole process of it. And
That's fantastic.
they presented their argument, and
I was interviewing.
That's
we made
interesting.
Team building.
some different, assessments on it, but
Very
you
good.
know.
Well, that's very good to know. I appreciate that. And I love that you have all those different programs that you can help. And you can do it in any type of format that the CPA needs, right?
yeah, I can. Well, the CPA for taxes needs in a PDF. If your CPA is taking your balance sheet or your profit and loss in an Excel document, that's not a generally accepted accounting practice. So,
Great.
because it's editable. I mean, even though you can get Adobe and edit the PDF, but it's more that a PDF is just more of a hard copy than an Excel spreadsheet.
Got it. Very interesting. Thank you for that. See? Ask a bookkeeper.
Yeah, because we've had to do things for child support cases and
Mhm.
stuff where I've had to go through and analyze people's personal financials and create like a profit and loss for them to present to the courts for whatever they're doing there.
Very good. Thank you. For my friend.
Of course.
Asking.
Of course.
Not for me.
So as you, Dawn, are setting up this team, you've grown rather rapidly here over the last several months. What is your interview like? Are you asking them if they know what a Corian countertop is, or are you like, you know what, I really like you, come on aboard?
Quite honestly, it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So I think a personality has to mesh. It's really important to be able to get along with us. We are fun in our office. We, you've sat there and been around while we swear at each other, and talk a little inappropriately and
Shop.
have fun and shop and have fun. And my PLN statement, which would be write-offs because it's happening during work. And is that how that works? And but it's if I think we're going to get along and you're going to get along with my team, it's most importantly that I think you can be professional in the setting that we need to be at our clients' houses, at our open houses, networking events and stuff, but have fun and not be so. What were you going to say?
I've had that problem at work, and I don't know how to correct that.
Okay, explain.
Like when I used to manage a team in construction, like when I'm at work, I'm work Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what it is. I have zero tolerance for nonsense, zero patience realistically. But when I'm off the clock and we're like at a company picnic and it's, everybody's kind of let their hair down, I don't have a problem doing a couple shots with my staff and whatever and stuff like that. But it's sometimes I feel like they don't understand why I get mad if they are like, they've told me so many times that work Stephanie is such a bitch compared to like fun Stephanie.
Yes, and I get that. I mean, I've had to
like people need to like understand because you get referrals all the time and deal with friends or business partners and things like that. And so your team and yourself would have to treat, like if I came to you, was like, I need you to sell my house and find me a new house. Like you would treat me the same, if not
Correct.
A little bit better than.
Without a doubt. So here's a couple things. That's a two-part. Sorry. So the truth is so I have last year I sold 4 houses. I sold their houses and got them a new house for 4 of some very close friends. And we're a little different in tradition and how we do things. I don't show buyers. So it's very simple for me. I say to them, I will help you on your listing side and I'm going to give you out to my buyer side because you're going to annoy me with how many things you're going to want from me. And I'm going to have a hard time separating our friendship. And number 2, when it's part of the listing, that's my job. I know what it is. I'm not going to come into your job and tell you how to do things. If I was going to ask you for help, I'm going to take your expert advice and I ask you to take my expert advice. And remember, when I'm talking to you about work, I'm just your realtor. I'm not your friend. And it's very important that I set those guidelines out the door before I even take somebody that I know, because it's true. I'm going to tell you things that you're not going to want to do, but you're going to need to do to sell your house. So that's really important. And then with regards to team building, we are crazy, we are fun, and we are wild. But if you want to talk saucy to me or talk back to me or give me a hard time at night, when we're out to dinner and a social time, that's fine. But if we're in my office or we're talking about work and I ask you to do something, I need you to do it. And that's important. So if you can't separate these, then those are not the way that we're going to be able to work together. But you cannot backtalk me or sauce me. And if you did that, then the other agents in the office are going to think that you have that, they have that right. And then there's no respect.
Yeah.
So,
because everybody that knows and has watched several shows, I've been so trigger shy on hiring another bookkeeper. But I feel like if I hired another bookkeeper, I'll be able to expand. So when you look at from when you were kind of handling everything from start to finish by yourself, buyers, sellers, and whatever, and then how much do you think you grew percent-wise once you started adding each team member? Like how much additional kind of, you don't have to give like a dollar amount, but like kind of percentage
I'll
growth.
give you. My first year, it was just me. I sold $5 million in real estate. Last year with 4 agents, 2 full-time and 2 part-time, we sold $32 million in real estate. You can't, there's no way I could sell $32 million in real estate by myself. That at some point you're going to hit a cap where you can't go any further if you don't expand. And I will tell you, and anybody who knows me, I am the biggest control freak when it comes to anything to do with anything I've built. You watch it, sir. I'm a control freak. And the hardest thing that I ever had to do was allow somebody to come in. And when, for instance, Jennifer was my first agent, I did do hey, Jen, I gave you Lisa. So like the next day I'd be like, did you call Lisa? What happened with Lisa? Then 2 days later, I'd be like, are you still talking to Lisa? And she'd be like, how about I let you know when Lisa and I are working in a contract together? And it was hard for me to let that go. I made her put a spreadsheet together with every lead I gave, because if I was handling it, I know what would be going on. Mm-hmm. And it was hard for me to let it go. And quite honestly, The best and the worst thing that ever happened to me was my mom got sick about 6 weeks after Jennifer joined my team. My mother fell and wasn't found for several days, and it was a catastrophic injury. And we thought she was going to die, and I had to get on a plane and fly away. And Jennifer took over my business, and I had no choice. And it was the best thing that ever happened to my business. Not such a great thing. My mother's fine, by the way. But it was a long time that I was gone back and forth and focusing, and Jennifer ran my business and took care of it. And so it just kind of happened naturally that I knew I could trust her, which made it easier for me to trust the next person and the next person. And as long I give them, I do check in with them a lot more when they first start. But to go to your point, if you do not hire somebody else, there's only so much that you're going to be able to do. You can't handle 50 clients by yourself.
I'm handling 62 right now.
Right. But just think about it. The 62 clients, at one point you want 100. You want 150.
Well, at one point I want to be $1 million firm in the next 3 years.
But you can't do it by yourself doing one and still be a mom and a wife. So you're going to have to at some point.
She wants to get in the back room with the QuickBooks.
That's right. QuickBooks. But if you did it and you had somebody, you have room in your office to have somebody there by your side where you can monitor them, and you want them to be and make sure that you have policies and procedures in place so that they can follow them. And that's the first thing I suggest anybody do with the team building. If you want to duplicate yourself, have your policies and procedures and what you do on paper, because nobody's going to replicate what you do in your head.
Yeah. We got an employee handbook written out.
That's good.
So we did that. But now I guess the trouble is everybody since COVID wants to work remote. Right off the bat, they want to work remote. And I'm a control freak as well. And I can't trust you to work remote without being able to kind of shadow and listen to your phone calls and do the handoffs of the clients. Because like you said, a lot of stuff is kind of in my head. I do have stuff written down in my CRM about the clients, but I need to have somebody there for a few months. And then once I feel comfortable, I don't care if they go part-time remote and part-time in the office. And yeah, I have room in my office to probably put 2 people in there.
But it's important anyway that they're in your office, whether they're doing your work or not. But I have this new agent that just started, Dan, and he's in my office every day, whether I'm there or not. That's what he chooses to do. But when I'm there, he likes to listen to how I talk to a client on the phone. What am I doing every day? When I say, hey, somebody calls me and wants to go on a search, he can get right up and watch me do it and be hands-on. You can't do that from remote. So I agree with you. If you're hiring somebody, they could be remote all they want, but during the training process, they have to be there. And it may take you a very long time to let that leash go and let them walk without the leash. And that's unfortunately the hardest part.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot to tell people, if anybody is looking to buy or sell in the McHenry, Wisconsin, from McHenry to Wisconsin and in between to the North Shore to the whatever.
We do all of Northern Illinois. So we do, Bolingbrook, Libertyville, Lincolnshire, Wisconsin, McHenry, Woodstock, DuPage. We do all of the Northwest suburbs. And if you want to buy or sell, especially right now, there are houses on shortage. We have buyers. We are looking. Call us at 847-456-6334 or walk on to 1218 North Green Street and take a look at our digital kiosk and flip away and find your dream house.
And you guys have the hand sanitizer out there by your kiosk?
Hand sanitizer out by our kiosk. And we definitely do. And you can drive on by and look at our cameras and make faces. And
I'm waiting for the mouthwash to be out there.
You want mouthwash?
Yeah.
You should probably have that when you walk in here.
So if anybody needs a realtor, has any realtor type questions, definitely reach out to Dawn Bremer and the Bremer team. They will definitely take care of you with that white glove service. I know people that have personally utilized their service. And what's that special thing that you offer that other realtors don't offer?
We have a free personal concierge service where we will move your utilities from house to house for you for free. Gas, electric, cable, water, trash, all of that. We do it all for you for free.
I thought when I bought my house, I thought that was part of the closing process. And I didn't call ComEd for 2 months after moving in. And I called my mom and I'm like, hey, Mom, I haven't gotten a bill. Is that normal? And she's like, well, did you call and set up your account? And I'm like, no, I have electricity.
That's because your old person was paying your electricity bill.
Well, it was a builder, so whatever.
Yeah, that's what happens.
It wasn't a person, but yeah. So thank you so much for stopping by and talking about your team and how that whole process has worked out for you as a business owner. I'm Steph with Steph's Bookkeeping. You can reach me at 847-942-3004 or stop by the office at Tanyan Towers at 1400 Route 31 in Suite 207 in McHenry, or email me at steph@stephsbooks.com. So thanks everybody for tuning in. And then next show, we are going to be talking about business partners, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and how to pick a good partner when you're going into business and maybe not your best friend.
Oh, thanks, Mom. Linda says, great show. And of course, thanks for getting stuck in the net here. 216 Net. This has been Ask a Bookkeeper with bookkeeper extraordinaire Stephanie Conley. Come back at, I'd say about 6:30, where Whining with Dawn is going to happen tonight with a virgin whiner.